Hello, dear ones. This is Alyce Dylan. I'm your host, and this is the Indigo Rose Lounge. And today we're going to look at the subject of affirmation. It's a big topic. A lot of people use affirmations in their days, and I must admit, there's a real place for affirmation. There has historically been in the last 10, 20 years. We've seen people come up and use affirmations and promote affirmations, and a lot of people benefited a lot. I think it was a lot about shifting perspective. But the truth about affirmation is when we're sitting here in our physicality, in our human experience, the idea that I'm an unlimited being capable of miraculous things seems like a bit of a stretch. And what we're going to get back from ourselves is more disbelief than anything else. The other truth is that your true spiritual self, your true eternal being, your spirit self, your higher self, some people call it, when you shift consciousness into the perspective of that self, and I do have meditations that guide you on how to do that. And of course, in my book, I go into that. So if you haven't started yet, try that. Try shifting awareness from your human form into your ethereal body and then into your true spirit self, which is your eternal self. And when sitting in your true eternal self, which I call the golden tadpole, because that's what spirit looks like to me, but of course exists at a level of frequency that doesn't look at all, because there are no eyes there, but perception says to me that that's what spirit looks like at that level. And when you sit in that level of awareness, in that space of consciousness, then words like, I am an eternal being, ring absolutely true. When you say to yourself at that level of consciousness, am unlimited, I am capable of miraculous outcomes, then that's all true. That's absolutely true at that level of being. When you're sitting in the human self, that your spirit self manifested into this human experience to give you the experience of living a human life where there are abundant lessons to be learned, where play can teach, and where love manifests in so many forms, and nature itself is an abundant demonstration of all kinds of universal laws. Truly, this is the most spectacular playground and learning place that could ever have been created for us. It's truly miraculous and beautiful and perfect. But when we sit in these human forms, in our limited human capacity, as five sense beings and having the physical limitations we do, then some of these affirmations make no sense. Just sitting there lying to yourself, that's kind of the rhetoric that goes on in your mind. So if you are a spiritually perceptive person battling with the idea of affirmations because your sense of truth and untruth is really clear, and you say the words, I am an unlimited being, and they fall flat to you, what that tells me is that you're a spiritually perceptive person spending more time in terms of awareness in your human dynamic than you are in your spiritual dynamic, which is perfectly acceptable and fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you can consciously move your awareness from your physicality into your spirituality, then you might find affirmations like I am unlimited easier, because there they have a ring of truth. Or instead of getting lost in the weeds here, because it is true that we attract into our experience that which we focus on, I'd like to give you a shortcut. Yeah? Okay, so if you sit comfortably and you extend your awareness around yourself and just bring up the idea for yourself of wealth. Just wealth. Just bring up what wealth feels like. What does wealth and prosperity and abundance, what does that feel like? Hmm. Find where that feels strongest in your body. Where can you find a feeling of wealth, prosperity, abundance? Where can you find that? And can you grow it from there? Can you just extend that feeling up to the top of your head, down to your fingers, down to your toes? Take another feeling like health, well-being. And just find where you feel that strongest in your body, where you can truly feel its resonance, and just expand it until it encompasses your whole being. Oh, and just soak for a moment in the idea of wealth, abundance, prosperity, health, well-being. Oh, doesn't that feel glorious? Doesn't it feel wonderful? Stay there as long as you need to and keep coming back to those frequencies in your day. And that way we short circuit the process. Because while in our physical reality and our kind of animal aspect of our being, it does not ring true to say, I am an unlimited being of eternal relevance and all of that wonderful stuff. Even Neville Goddard, I adore some of his stuff. It's wonderful. But he skips that step too, the I am. So stand in the I am eternal, I am all of these wonderful things. And when you understand that you are an eternal spiritual being having a temporary human experience, and you embrace that truth with your entire awareness, in your consciousness spends more time in your eternal self than in your limited human self, then you can say things like, you can affirm things like Neville Goddard suggests, and they will ring true for you. So he misses, in my view, that step of transferring our awareness from our limited human existence into our eternal self before we proclaim these I ams. If you take that step, if you add to that experience the step of migrating your awareness up the frequency scale, up into your eternal spiritual being, and stating the I ams from that perspective, when you work on the power of assumption from the perspective of knowing that you are an eternal spiritual being, that you created this human manifestation, and you can create whatever else you desire, that's a complete you. Until then, though, just shortcut the process by focusing your attention on the essence. Focus your attention, spend time focusing on and feeling and really feeling abundance, prosperity, and wealth. You don't have to visualize, you can just immerse yourself in what those essences feel like. What would they feel like? What would prosperity feel like to you? What does wealth and freedom and wholeness and health, what does that feel like? And spend time there, and you'll see that that has the same result, because that frequency that you spend time in, you will bring into your life. When you're tuning into that frequency, that will turn up in response. Right, lovelies? There we go. Hopefully overcome a challenge for you there. And as always, just remember to love always.